guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So, this is going to be, I'm going to try to start doing more regular videos again on Michael Monkey Vaughn. I'm going to start going back through a lot of interviews, actual evidence that we know of, but mostly interviews. And since Stacey Wondra decided to go on a YouTube podcast media tour, in air quotes, earlier this year, he's just as good as anyone to start with. And of course, Brandon Shirtliff, another suspect in the case about the abduction of little Michael Monkey Vaughn. So we're going to dive into some of that. The first one I'm going to go through is from Justin's channel. I think now he's not using this channel anymore. This is Justin for All. This is his channel. I think he's on another channel now. Pearls. I'm blanking on the full name right now. Sorry, Justin. I'm going to link to his channel in the information of this video. So if you're already not subscribed to Justin, definitely head on over and hit subscribe on, it's I think Clutch Those Pearls, something like that. But I'm going to link to it in the information of this video. And the cool thing about this one is Josh from the lab, another awesome guy that you should be following, he jumped on to this interview, and it started to really heat up when they were calling Stacey out on his garbage.
This is an interesting thing that Stacey said, and I wanted your comment on it. If I can pull it up. I got so many screens pulled up. It's an... Okay. All right. And this is from forget what news. I'm sorry, I don't got the source on me right now, but
all right, I'm going to read it to you. He's obviously reading it, but according to court documents, police forced entry into the Wondra's home around 9:30 p.m. Friday, where they found Sarah Wondra in the living room. She was detained and read a copy of the search warrant. When I got to the portion that read murder, she said, "Did you just say murder?" multiple times, a Fruitland police officer wrote in the affidavit. She also said, "I have never murdered anyone." Officials said that Sarah Wondra maintained that she definitely did not kill that boy, and said the Most High God already told me who did it. She reportedly told police, "Oh, wow, the Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of the neighbor's house." Now, a lot of you guys are going to remember this, and this whole situation just really blew my mind when we got to the Wondras in this case. When asked later to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of her residence and said Stacey had buried him in the backyard by the shed. Police said by that point they had begun hand digging a portion of the Wondra's yard based on information received from Stacey. Now remember that right there, because he's going to argue this about the timing of this. We all who had not been arrested or charged by Monday afternoon, it wasn't clear when or why police had spoken with Stacey Wondra. Okay, we did find out he was already in jail on unrelated charges, so that's when they were speaking to Stacey. Sarah Wondra was arrested and told police, "God just told me that Stacey was the one who did it," adding that she knew the body was in the neighbor's yard because that's what God told me. She later then corrected herself and stated God told her, I can't read that part right there. But the bottom line is, Sarah, remember, she went, "Oh, God told me that Stacey did it." And that this tip about the fact that Michael was in this backyard came from Stacey Wondra, who at the time they were still husband and wife.
Do you know why uh she would say something like that?
I'm appalled. I have no clue. She's literally like gone cuckoo. Um, I'm a very high believer in God, and I believe in God strongly. And God wouldn't tell a lie.
But Stacey Wondra and Sarah Wondra would tell a lie, right, Stacey? And you're telling quite the amount of whoppers lately. And listen, it really makes me sick that you and Sarah use, oh, I believe in God so much, and it's the furthest from the truth. It really, it just bothers me. And the only thing that bothers me more is the fact that you abducted Michael and you can't tell the truth and give his family some closure. Buck up, man. It's going to happen one day or another. And if you decide to speak up before the cops get the information, before law enforcement, the DA's office, you might get some leniency. But you just don't have that much smarts to do that, do you, Stacey?
You know, I think God is very, he
Well,
died on the
God,
cross.
God may not tell a lie, but humans will. Let me ask you this question really fast.
Go ahead.
I guess my question really is,
Drink.
what is it that you're trying to accomplish? I mean, you are a suspect in the case, whether
Yes.
law enforcement has said that. What is it like? So you're doing I'm not saying you're doing rounds, but you're going on panels and stuff. Like, how is this going to help you? How is this going to help exonerate you?
It's not going to help exonerate me, but what it's doing is giving people my side of the story, because there's a lot of stories being told, but nobody's going to believe one person over the other. Reality is I'm still a suspect. And when it gets cleared by law enforcement, then people have a different view. But I want to personally tell people my side of the story because I feel that's what I'm destined to do. Because I feel
it's your destiny, huh, Stacey? To tell your quote unquote story. I think your story's got a lot of fiction in there. And it's a bunch of crap. And it's to the point where Monkey's Army wants the truth to come out, wants Brandy, Tyler, the entire family to be able to have some closure and peace. Okay? And you're only making things so much worse. And I hope that makes your sentencing much worse later on.
I feel there's a lot of bullshit talk, there's a lot of crap talk about each and every one of us. I'm just honestly going out there because I know what happened that night. I know that I know the whereabouts where I was. I know the whereabouts where Sarah and Brandon were. I don't see that. That's why I'm doing this, because there's a lot of questions regarding this.
Yeah. But you don't have anything to offer as to where Michael is.
I don't. You're right, because I don't.
So what I'm saying is, like, and the point that should take 5 minutes to say.
He has taken a polygraph.
I did take a polygraph, and I was very well informed that I passed a polygraph. But
first off, polygraphs really mean crap. Okay, they're inadmissible in court. And yes, they're used. It's a tool, but they're not that reliable in a lot of ways. And you passed it, well, either you tricked it or you're lying again, Stacey, because you legitimately are not telling the truth. I don't believe it at all.
By detectives, by the FBI, by my mom, who the detectives told. I was also told that Sarah and Brandon did not.
Have you told investigators anything that you haven't told the public? And if so,
No.
why?
Not at all.
So your story that you're telling everybody is the exact same that you have told in the interrogations.
Exactly.
And to stop an interrogation, what you did, you said that Michael was in the yard. How does that, did that stop an interrogate? Did that actually stop it?
I haven't been interrogated since. I haven't heard from law enforcement. I haven't talked to law enforcement. I haven't even heard a peep from anybody.
So they dug up that entire yard, as we all saw. We watched them do it, based on just you saying that he was buried in the yard to stop it.
Correct.
So you tricked law enforcement into doing that?
I guess if you want to put it that way, yes.
Well, I mean, that's against the law, right?
I mean, do you think
so? Very well, you could and probably should be charged with that. But and I'm not here to like trip you up or hang you or be mean to you or anything. But how is it that you can trick dogs into hitting on human decomp? You can't do that. You can trick the police, but you're not tricking dogs.
No, not at all. But
the dogs did hit, correct?
Apparently that's what
there were supposed to be multiple dogs.
So you told them that Michael was buried in the yard, and then, which you say is a lie, but then dogs hit on human decomp in that yard.
They hit before I told them that. That's why they questioned me.
So they hit before?
No, they didn't. No, they did not. Okay. Your tip in those interrogations led law enforcement to that house where you guys were all living. It led them to that home. And that's where they brought the dogs and they smelled human decomp. It wasn't later on. That was all happening at one time, Stacey, and you damn well know it.
Correct.
So
but to prove my point that there was nothing back there, that's why I had them go dig it up. I knew there was nothing back there. I simply was very much so under pressure. I was being interrogated to the point of tears. I mean, for hours a day, for like 3 or 4 days. And honestly,
Oh, boo-hoo. You want us to cry you a river that they were interrogating you because you abducted and probably killed a child? I have zero sympathy for your sorry ass, Stacey. I really don't. Okay? You committed the crime. You caused a family to be suffering all this time. And you're like, oh, they made me cry. I was so upset. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
could not take it. It was killing me.
But I thought you said you gave them the tip.
I did give them the tip after they interrogated me.
If the dogs would have hit earlier, they would have just dug it up.
Yeah, that's the thing. If that's what I'm trying to understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so obviously,
they wouldn't notice. They wouldn't have known to search your house if they hadn't had it. If you hadn't given them the tip.
That's what I'm saying. I told them.
You told them, and then the dogs hit. Correct?
No,
because the dog, if they hit on
dogs hit before. That's at least what I'm being told. That's what law enforcement told me. That's what detective.
They would dig it up though. They would have dug it up if dogs would have hit. Not so they didn't. They dug it up because you said Michael was buried in the yard.
Correct.
Okay,
but then they bring the dogs out there to confirm that hey, there is human there is they're hitting out here. So then they dig it up.
All I know is I told them that fable.
You know, he really is frustrating and pisses you off, doesn't he? He thinks he's smarter than the average bear, and he's not. Law enforcement told you, you just said it. They They were interrogating me so much. I was so upset. It was ruining my life. I wanted to die. So I just made up a bunch of shit. And I just said, oh, he's buried in the backyard. You know what? They broke you. You told them the truth. And what you didn't know is that someone moved him. And my suspicion is it has to do with someone named Brandon. But you did not tell the law enforcement, you did not tell them any of that after they served the search warrant to that home. You told them before. You are the reason that they served that search warrant. And Sarah Wondra was laying on the couch and she was startled saying, oh, God told me Stacey buried him in the backyard. Yeah, that happened all at one time, Stacey, after you broke down and told the detectives at least a partial truth.
That's what I told them. I don't know anything further than that.
And you can see how that's going to be hard for people to understand.
I do, absolutely.
Because I mean, that's a lot to tell. I mean, to get an interrogation to stop, all you would need to do is say, "Hey, I want to talk to my lawyer."
And I did that. My lawyer was present with me.
Okay. I've got the clip where JD Huff said we have multiple dogs hit and we've got all of this based on evidence, it says.
And testimony. I mean, and that's what I'm really wondering is because like I said, this is just what I think. I think that you plan on being indicted like everybody else that was up there on those poster boards. And you're trying to get ahead of this thing, kind of get your story out there, which I don't blame you. But it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. I know it is. But what you're going to do is so since there's 4 different people involved, what's going to end up happening is you guys are all going to start throwing each other under the bus. You're kind of Brandon was the first one. Then it's you because you're out of jail now. And Adrian eventually at trial or whatever is happening here. But what I'm saying is I don't understand why anybody would tell the police that there's a kid buried in the yard to stop an interrogation. What good does that do?
And instead of having some sort of intelligence in his fat head, he's going to go out and tell all these YouTube channels and the media, I'm so wronged. I'm so wronged. And remember, now he's suing the United States of America. I'm sure that'll be laughed out of court, but I digress. And he's going to go out here, like Josh is stating, he went out and he said, oh, well, I was behind bars. Brandon decided to talk in his hot tub while he was drinking beer, and he told a bunch of shit. So now you're going to have Stacey trying to tell his little tall tales, and really none of them have any sort of intelligence at all, because the only possible smart thing that any of you 4 could do is to finally sit your ass down with law enforcement and tell the damn truth. And remember, the first to talk, the first to walk, which means whoever decides to talk is going to get the better deal. But apparently, none of you guys care about that at all. So, one day when everything comes together, and it will, Stacey, Brandon, Sarah, Adrian, you're all going to find yourselves in prison for the rest of your lives.
Did that help you in some way?
The probable cause,
because why you wouldn't tell him that unless he was actually buried in that yard.
He wasn't.
He wasn't when they went back, but he was at one point, according to the dogs.
But the
and
problem,
to you.
The problem is how is he not? I mean, how is he not found? I mean, he obviously was in that yard at some point. Investigators and dogs and everyone picked it up. Now, maybe you didn't have nothing to do with it, but somebody at that house did. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And who was it?
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm telling my side, because I know for a fact, and per the posters and the pictures and everything that I posted that I sent to Justin, like I had nothing to do with this boy's disappearance. I had no knowledge of him being buried. If he was buried, that's news to me. And what's weird about it is our neighborhood, like they have cameras that like from Sky Cam or whatever it is, that you can see into the backyard. There was no dig holes. My dog Oakley, it was a digger, but she dug right when you walked out the front patio where the dead spot is, where the barbecue was.
And that's where I believe you buried him. Remember how Sarah went off her rocker, and that was saying a lot because she sure was a crazy ass woman, and because they wanted to, one of the guys coming to the home, and I'm blanking on his name right now, guys. Forgive me for that. He was visiting or living in the home for a short period of time. He wanted to move the barbecue, and Sarah went bazonkers. Okay, and then y'all kicked him out of the house. So don't try to lie to everybody. See, because we're smarter than you, Stacey. We are smarter than you. Oh, and also Sarah. But in this instance, your bullcrap is just that. It's a line of crap. We all know, you know exactly what happened to Michael Vaughn that night. And you are part of his abduction. It's time to freaking tell the truth, Stacey. It's time to come clean.
Dead because the barbecue we had two barbecues at the time, and one was sitting on the grass.
One of the things. Oh, sorry, Justin.
Go ahead, Josh.
Well, one of the things that the dog would do is when they're sniffing in the yard, not only would they do that, at any point, if he was in the house at all, if Michael was in your house, the dogs would hit at the front porch. Did they?
No, not to my knowledge. No.
I think they hit beside the front porch.
Oh, okay. So that would indicate that he was near the house. So Michael, I mean, let's just be honest here. Michael was around that house.
Huh?
Michael was around that house. The dogs aren't going to hit just for no reason unless you buried somebody else back there.
I don't know. I have no information to give to that. Like I told everybody and anybody on here, if I knew something about this, because I am in no way okay with abducting a child, killing him, burying him. I would bury somebody else for doing that to somebody like that.
Now,
Right.
the probable cause happened, David. It says that you spoke to them while you were not in custody about this.
I gave them permission
Okay, maybe that's what
to search the house when Sarah got arrested.
Mhm.
I didn't get arrested. She got arrested April 13th of 2022. I got arrested May 6th of 2022.
Okay. All right.
Do you expect to be indicted for this?
I was going to ask the
I mean,
If I am-
obviously you have an idea that you're probably, or else you wouldn't be doing this. I mean, let's just, I've seen this before.
To tell my side of the story. And if I'm indicted, they've got a long road ahead of them with going to trial.
Well, I mean, not really. If you told him that he was in the yard, I mean, you're going to be charged with lying to investigators if that's what you did. And that's a serious crime too.
Bingo, Josh. It's a serious crime, and you know, it's stacked on. You know, it's all stacked on to his long file, and I guarantee you, the file on these 4 suspects is quite huge. Payette County DA has it, and they have quite a lot. I think they're just waiting for one more piece, and they're waiting for him to be found. And that's really rough. It truly is. But I will say this. A trial can be done without a body. Okay? It can be done. Most recently, Harmony Montgomery. It takes more evidence, and And if they have to make a deal like they did with Kayla, with one of these monsters, that may happen. But it doesn't look like any of them, up till this point, give a damn about that.
And if I am, I am. I own up to that.
This is in October. Prosecutors on the investigation over Michael says, quote, I expect to charge it.
Yeah, I mean, they put 4 posters up of people, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to defend yourself. You absolutely do. And if you have nothing to do with this, all that should come out eventually. But I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I just don't. I can't get past like how you would just say, hey, yeah, he's in the yard.
I literally made that up.
And
there was
dogs literally hit on human decomposition.
That's the problem is if you made it up and he was actually in the backyard I mean, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Say?
If you made it up, that's exactly what he's saying. If you made it up, they wouldn't have found decomp in that backyard, Stacey. It's common sense.
I feel you, and I get that. But
that's a hell of a coincidence.
I gave them a direction. Okay, this is where I know that it was a lie, because that dog may have hit in the backyard, but the direction and area that I pointed to him, the dogs did not hit around at that house in the backyard. I told them he was literally buried directly across from the patio.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who do you think did this?
I don't know. I know Adrian has, according to detectives and what I've been told by them, that Adrian has a huge history of human trafficking.
I like how you keep saying, from what I've been told. From what I've been told. I don't think you've been told a damn thing, Stacey. I think this is all out of your head. And I mean, I have no idea which one of you was, and I hate to say mastermind, because you guys are not masterminds, okay? I think, and we've said this before, that Sarah wanted a child. She couldn't have a baby with you because of your issues, okay? And then she tried to have one with Brandon, and all that late night partying didn't happen, didn't work. So you decided to abduct someone else's child. And then something went horribly, horribly wrong.
So I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh.
But the matter of the fact is when and how he would get away with doing something like that, because I have no knowledge of any of this.
Okay. All right. Let me just play this. And this was what they said.
Everybody, I just wanted to start out by saying thank you.
And
it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughn could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland.
Can you pause that for a second?
As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search.
Why it says that they received credible information. So that's based on your tip alone, yeah?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was just checking.
Okay.
Search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Stacey Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement.
what would the probable cause be?
Him.
The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property.
Listen to this.
All of them alerting to the presence of human remains.
All of them.
So that's where the problem,
Right.
you know, that's where the story really starts to fall apart for you. Is you're saying that I made this up, but then you have multiple dogs. Every dog that was there hit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hit. I mean, you can bring them to my backyard right now. I can make up a lie. They're not going to hit, and they're not going to dig up my yard. I mean, you understand that.
Penetrating radar was also used.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I was just wondering.
I just want to finish this little
And
bit right here.
deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation
And that's where something has been dug and, you know, the ground isn't as firm.
of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that
Based on evidence.
his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing.
You notice the look on Stacey's face here. He knows that Chief Huff's telling the truth. He has no answers because he's full of shit. Okay? And you have Justin and Josh calling him on the carpet, and I applaud them for that. Because we're all sick of your garbage, Stacey, and Brandon and Sarah and Adrian. We're just sick of it. Because you all think that we don't know anything. And we're not investigators, okay? But this man on the screen talking, he's the chief of police of Fruitland. And you've got all other kinds of law enforcement surrounding him there. You've got Chris McDonough there from the Cold Case Foundation. Let me tell you something. These are experts. They are investigators. They know what they're doing. And they're telling the truth, and they are quoting evidence. Okay? Evidence. Evidence tells them the story has started to come together. Yes, there's some missing pieces to it, but it's coming together because you couldn't handle it in jail, all the interrogation, and you did blurt out some sort of truth. But what you didn't know is he was moved before that raid. He was moved because you were actually telling the truth in that case, Stacey.
You know, I mean,
Sarah wanted a baby, right?
She wanted a baby.
Did she take Michael?
I have no idea.
I mean, she's your wife. You would have some
Sarah
idea.
was also very deceitful and hid everything from me. She had the gun she held Tanner Butler up at gunpoint with.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea or any knowledge about the gun that she had. Because Randy Strickland, who was staying with us, asked her to not tell me about it because I was a felon.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you got in trouble for?
Huh? No, I got for having my own gun.
Right. Well, you know, the main
Were you
thing
offered a deal, like a cooperation deal?
They offered this before they dug the yard, and they said that they would give me a 15 plus 7, but in the condition that I would tell them where the body is. And I said, I don't know where the body is.
Currently, or you did in the past?
I have never known where the body is.
Lies. Lies. You're a liar, Stacey. You're a freaking liar. You wanted that deal because, again, you were crying like a baby and you knew you was guilty as hell. So you told him that Michael was in that backyard. But again, you didn't know he wasn't there anymore. So you are a key component, a key suspect in this case, Stacey.
Somebody in the chat just said that Adrian was left with a duffel bag. You know anything about that?
No, never even knew that he had a duffel bag with him. He had a backpack.
So you unequivocally, absolutely never at any point in your life have seen Michael Vaughn. Never.
I don't even know who this kid was, and that's deep down, honest to God, with everything in my heart. I have no idea. I've never seen this kid. I didn't even know he existed. I didn't know who Tyler and Brandy were.
All right, wait. Back up. You knew he existed on the night you guys were coming back, supposedly. Remember your story about we went to go get Brandon's car to tow it back from his mama's house. And on our way back into the area to go home, we found out there was a bunch of cops and people everywhere. They said, what's going on? They told you there was a missing boy, a missing child. And then you found out that night what his name was, who he was. So that's another lie, Stacey. Another lie.
Like, honestly, I've never seen that kid in my day of my life.
Okay, so Brandon had a duffel bag. Excuse me. What did Brandon have? What was Brandon doing with the duffel bag?
He had his clothes in it. Like, I watched him when we went to go tow the car. I watched him have an empty duffel bag. It was empty. And I watched him fill it with all of his clothes that he had in our house.
Was it your duffel bag?
No, it was his.
So you're not missing a duffel bag?
Not at all.
Okay.
What about underneath the house?
There was a
crawl
crawl space, but that crawl space literally it was in the walk-in closet from our bathroom.
Right.
That literally had an empty Savage Arms old box from an old 17 that I had.
Okay.
Did a dog hit at Brandon's house?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't confirm that because I've been told things through lives, like doing YouTube lives, but I've never heard anything from the police. No.
Yeah.
That's because you don't know anything. They haven't told you a damn thing. You say, they told me this, they told me that. But here you actually say, well, they haven't told me that. That's right, Stacey. They haven't told you a damn thing. Except they want the truth and they want to know where Michael is.
And if you guys have any further questions, like Eve that does the same thing you guys do, has literally covered this whole case extensively, like thoroughly. Mm-hmm. And she just wanted me to point out to you guys, like, if you have questions like skeptibilities or whatever, to literally go to her. Like, she has the police reports. She has everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Eve, who threw Brandy under the bus and talked crap about Brandy and Tyler and that whole family. Yeah. And you're just trying to deflect here anyway, Stacey, because at the time, you and Eve were buddies. Remember, though, who you first spoke with was Brooks. But I guess Eve decided to pay more for your Blimpie or whatever sandwiches you get and all your food and your lodgings and crap. So, yeah, Eve kissed your ass and nobody else did that.
I just don't understand why you would lie to the feds about saying that there's a body in the backyard.
You have to understand it coming from my point of view and my mental disability that I suffer with, like, not as an excuse, but
what's your mental disability?
I have fetal syndrome. I have Asperger's. I have autism, which is Asperger's. I have bipolar, intermittent explosive disorder. Now, mind you, 98% of those I've overcome being in group homes my whole life. But people that have fetal syndrome, it is very common that people get put in very pressured situations and the instant reaction just to give something to get them to back off.
And you're right. But the problem is what you told them is what they have evidence that there was someone in the backyard.
Okay, but they did not specify where the dogs hit. They said they hit in the backyard. I told them where it made up again, where he was buried, which was directly across when you walk out the back patio door. It was directly straight across, right in the middle of the fence, in the middle of the yard. They didn't specify where he was hit. They said that they dug by the shed and that the dogs had hit around the shed area. That's what I've been told. I know, and if you read their report, or you probably can pull it up, she literally, I don't know if it's accessible or not, but I know for a fact that when I gave them that location, they literally, I watched it on video when they were digging at that spot. Detective was on the phone with me.
Mm-hmm.
They dug.
They started there, but they dug up the whole damn backyard, Stacey. They didn't just dig up that little area by the shed. They dug up the entire backyard.
Nothing up. The dogs did not hit in that spot. I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that he was in the yard.
I said he was in that direct spot, but he was never there. Clearly,
Well, he was in that yard somewhere at one point.
somewhere. I don't know.
He
I have
probably
nothing.
was.
I don't have knowledge of it.
Well,
Like
I
I
mean,
said,
you
I have
didn't pull
never-
that out of thin air. Maybe
Yes, I
Adrian
did.
told you. Maybe
Yes, I
Sarah
did.
told you. Maybe Brandon
No.
told you.
But this is exactly why it's hard for me to do these lies, because people are gonna try to judge me and say that I literally didn't. I had something to do with it. My question to you is why, when they did a polygraph test and I answered every question they asked me about Michael's disappearance, why on earth would I pass that polygraph?
Because you lied? Again, there are tricks to pass a polygraph. Plus, they're not reliable, Stacey. They're not. That's why they're not admissible in court.
Well,
You don't just get a false positive on a polygraph.
But the thing is, I'm going to throw something back at you after if you are taking heavy medications and
I haven't taken any medication.
and you have these,
I haven't taken medication for years.
Well, do you have proof that you passed a polygraph?
You can probably get it in the affidavit
Because I
somewhere.
mean, you can't use
I
it in
can
a
tell
court of
you
law
that
anyway.
three people talked to me about my polygraph, including the guy that did the polygraph in the Meridian Police Department, the Highway Patrol. The
Mhm.
guy that did the polygraph told me, he asked, how do you feel you did? And I said, I was honest about everything. He goes, you're right, you did. And then later on, I talked to the detectives. They also verified. Scott Crimmen was also at the Meridian Highway Patrol during my testing. He also said that I passed my polygraph.
Did
Anita-
Sarah pass?
No, according to what I'm being told, no. I don't have confirmation. I'm hearing that from my mom and what the detectives told my mom, because Sarah was married to me.
So here's a common occurrence in these kinds of cases is that people want to give information, but they don't want to implicate themselves. They want to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sarah not passing, but you passing. 3 other people may know what have happened, but I don't know what happened. And then you see what I'm saying, and you see where I'm going with it. I'm not trying to be rude and trip you up here. I'm just saying you pulling that out of thin air is almost impossible.
And it's not impossible for me.
I said almost impossible.
Okay, and I believe that. Okay, almost impossible, yeah. But for me, it wasn't impossible. If you literally sat there, you would see how literally, like, how on the verge of tears I was because I'm being interrogated so hard and so rough. And I told them the same exact thing the very first 4 interviews before the last one, when I told them about where he was in the backyard. I told them the same exact thing that I've told everybody else. I have never met this kid a day in my life. I've never seen him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him disappearing, any of that.
Do you know what day they gave you the polygraph on?
What, David?
Do you know what day they gave you the polygraph?
It was May 18th, I believe. It was literally the day that I got my case dropped for felon in possession out of state when the feds picked it up.
Okay. So while you so you're basically lying to them while you're on the phone with them while they're digging up the backyard,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Now, see, the thing about the day is like you're saying that you and Sarah and Brandon went to Cuna. Now, the thing with Brandon's story, which he's saying that him and Stacey got home and they went to the gas station.
Him and Sarah?
Or Sarah, sorry. Him and Sarah
No.
went
never
to the
went
gas
to the
station at
station.
7:00.
No.
And it's like somebody's lying here. Somebody's lying. And it's
They never went to the gas station. We left in our truck to go tow his car upon his request.
Mhm.
Why did you stop at 8th in Arizona again? I'm just curious about
to
that.
put power steering fluid in the truck. And it
what
wasn't
time was that?
directly on Arizona Street. It was probably about 50, 60, maybe 70 feet, 80, maybe 100 feet behind Arizona, like before Arizona Street. Literally right after you turn left out of our subdivision to go on 8th Street is where we pulled off.
Was Brandon with you?
Yes.
And so when you did that, just about the time that Michael goes missing, you understand that, right? Just kind of coincidental too.
I don't know what else to tell you guys. I've told everything. I've told everything.
Look, I've asked everything that I know some people are saying, "Oh, Josh, you're being mean." I don't think I am. I'm just asking questions. And I'll let you finish up, Justin.
No, I don't think you're being mean. And I mean, I think we're trying to find out what's going on here. And that's the thing. There's 4 different people saying 4 different things. What time were you on 8th and with the power steering fluid?
I don't have an exact time. Like I said, it's probably.
But the problem is, like, why do you need to stop right then and put power steering fluid in?
Because when Sarah made the left turn, the whining on the truck, when you have low in power steering fluid and your power steering is low in fluid, it will cause an extensive whine. And it literally sprays everywhere.
Brandon
so we literally knew we were making the trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we had stopped literally just for the sole purpose of putting power steering fluid in. I had got out in the passenger side of the truck. Sarah popped the hood. I opened the hood, opened power steering reservoir, poured power steering fluid in, closed the cap on the power steering fluid, walked back around to the passenger side truck, and we left.
Are you guys on CCTV?
And that's where you told Brooks you saw the child playing in a neighbor's yard. And that child changed from male to female, all different colors, cultures, throughout your story. So you gotta see how nobody believes half of, well, probably about 80% of what comes out of your mouth.
TV anywhere?
Yeah, they have that picture as well. They have that.
They have what?
They have the picture of us stopping on 8th Street. They have the video. It was CCTV. That was also recorded. They showed that to me.
But has anybody known that? Is this the first time you're telling that?
Nobody's asked me about it, but I told them everything.
Oh, I didn't. I was just wondering if you were on CCTV at all that day, but they have you on CCTV on 8th in Arizona.
Yes, correct.
With Brandon in the car.
Correct. And Sarah.
Oof. I mean, that's a major problem, right?
That day. Hold on. You saw a boy that day as well, didn't you? You said
yes,
you saw a boy.
Further down 8th Street on the very right-hand side in somebody's yard. And he didn't look anything like Michael at any point in time.
Look at Justin's face. He's like, yeah, that's a bunch of crap. It is a bunch of crap. Because now he's changing the time that he saw the child, the boy, the girl. Remember, he also described the colors that Michael was wearing. And then, oh, no, that's not, no. And how would he know he's in a neighbor's yard and that wasn't his yard? Again, there are holes you dig for yourself, Stacey, and they're very obvious.
Okay.
We didn't ever even approach the kid.
Did the boy you saw have a yellow shirt on?
It was a bright shirt, correct. From what I remember. It was shorts and a bright shirt. And he was a lot taller than the 5-year-old boy. I can tell you that much.
How the hell do you know that? Do you know how tall a 5-year-old is? Do you know how tall Michael was? I don't think so.
Okay.
So who put the power steering fluid in?
I did.
So you're on video getting out. of the truck.
Correct.
And is Stacey with you at this time? I mean, Sarah?
Sarah? Yeah, she's driving the truck. She was in the driver's seat the whole time. Brandon was in the back seat the whole time. I was the only one to get out of the truck as it's on video and recording. And the video shows me putting power steering fluid in the
They
truck.
showed it to you?
Yes.
Okay. When is the next time you put power steering fluid in that day? You know?
I didn't have to put it until the next day.
Okay.
I usually had to fill up the truck once a day with power steering fluid.
Was that the only place that you're on CCTV?
No, I was on CCTV at the splash pad.
Yes, he was at the splash pad at. I've got.
Is that common? Was that common? I'm sorry, I didn't know if that's common knowledge or not.
No, that's proof. I saw proof from the detectives. They showed me the video.
You knew that, Justin? You knew that he was on video?
Yeah. Yep, he's on video there at the splash pad getting out of his truck. He says car rather getting his snuff.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I heard that. So what happened was that you dropped dropped your chew, you got out, you got it at the splash pad. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you answering my questions. I know they come off fast, and that's just how I think and talk. So
It's okay, man. Like I said, I'm just here literally to tell my side of things. Because if there's one person that's going to tell the truth, it's me.
What a joke. I'm just here to tell my side of things. You were here all over these other channels to tell your fable, your made up story. And that you're the only one that's going to tell the truth, that's just so laughable. I don't know what else to say.
I remember verbatim. I have timestamps that were pulled up on the maps that Justin can show you if you want to see them, or I can send them to you directly.
But I would like a screen recording of that, just so that little.
I don't know how to screen record on my phone. I have no idea how to do that. 100% honest. I just got this phone, so
I'll teach you.
So did you guys go to Brandon's house that day?
Correct.
And then
night.
So here's another problem. If the dogs hit in the yard at your house, you guys are headed over to Brandon's, and the dogs hit there too. I mean, obviously there's a body that's being transported back and forth, and they're assuming that it's Michael. That's why you guys are suspects, right?
So to be yes.
Yes. Right.
But like I said,
is it possible that he was they covered this up with you being in the truck, that Michael was with them and you didn't know about it?
Not at all, because the only thing that got put in the truck, we all walked out together. The only thing that Brandon had in his hand was a duffel bag full of his clothes. I watched him fill his duffel bag up with clothes. It was empty, keep in mind. Watched him fill the duffel bag up, watched him put it in the truck. We all walked out together. The only thing that Sarah had in her hand was her purse.
Yeah.
And grocery bag that had two or three Diet Pepsis in it.
Was Sarah, she was seen carrying a kid? Was she ever?
No.
And so
The
that,
only-
and that's what you told police, though. That's
Yes.
you're telling the same thing. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
There's nothing that I have said on my lives that I have not told the detectives, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah, and I just don't like. I don't know how. Look, I don't care what you do. You can talk, do whatever you want. But I mean, he filled. So the duffel bag was filled up with clothes. He had that many clothes.
He literally had a stack of clothes, a pile of clothes. And it wasn't a huge duffel bag, keep in mind. It was literally a medium duffel bag.
It's all it takes is a medium duffel bag, though, to be honest with you. I mean, it's. Listen, I used to work in a funeral home, so I know what it. How
I know,
how
and
small.
I'm telling you, I'm verifying on Brandon's behalf. I was a witness to him filling up his duffel bag when it was completely empty the whole time I was in the living room when he was doing this.
Yeah.
He didn't have a bedroom that he was staying in. He slept in the living room on the couch all the time. I have pictures of him sleeping on the couch with my dog.
Did dogs ever hit on that truck?
No, not at all.
How did they search that truck?
Yes.
Or did you
Sure.
sell that truck?
Do they still have your? Do they still have?
Wait a
your
minute. Wait, Justin. Wait, Justin.
That
Did you
truck-
sell the truck?
No, the truck was repoed.
Oh, how long after Michael went missing?
It was July, I don't know, it was like August 2nd or something like that. August 3rd, but it was repoed and the detectives went and picked up the truck for evidence.
Okay.
How did it make Stacey feel to find out his lie was proven true when law enforcement started excavating?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I regret lying to him, but at the same point,
I mean,
I don't have any information for this little boy. I want to. I want to get whoever it is that did this in trouble. I want this little boy to come home to his mom and dad. 1,000,000%, time and time over.
oh, he's going.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't get up in tears. I don't get up wishing that this little boy would be found for his family.
First of all, you're lying. You don't think about this boy. And Stacey, his name is Michael Vaughn. Say it, Michael. Okay? He's not this boy. He's not a little boy. His name is Michael Vaughn. And your claims that there's not one day that doesn't go by that I don't think about him and I cry. No. That never has happened, and the only time you're going to cry is when law enforcement busts down your door and arrests you for his abduction and eventual murder.
You didn't have a wash machine at your house?
We had a washing machine at our house, correct.
So why did you go to his mom's house?
Brandon just said that he needed to go to his house anyways to get new clothes.
But that
So
doesn't
he
make
was just
sense.
going to do his. You're right, it doesn't, but that's what Brandon said.
So what it sounds like, just personally to me, is if you're putting the pieces together and he's got a duffel bag, dogs hit at your house, dogs hit at his house. It sounds like he used that duffel bag for something else.
I'm personally telling you and everybody on here, like I said just a couple minutes ago, I watched him put everything from an empty duffel bag, like the duffel bag was empty. There was nothing in it at the start. Nothing.
So he didn't take any clothes out of there? There wasn't a pile of clothes at the house, or he didn't swap stuff
No,
out?
that's what I'm saying. No, you're just missing what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay.
When he first came staying with us, he emptied the duffel bag. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
When he loaded the duffel bag, it was again empty. There was nothing.
Where did he put his clothes? Do you have a dresser
on
at
the
your
side
house?
of the couch? On the side of the couch.
Instead of leaving them in the bag.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, he must have been in jail way too long.
He's done a few jail times. Correct.
So he took clothes from your house that you had a perfectly good washer and dryer from, and drove it 30 minutes away to use his mom's washer.
Correct. Why? I don't know. But
I-
we also were at a point with Brandon where we just like want to argue with him. Brandon was
He didn't bring laundry to his mom's house. Dirty laundry. That's not what was in that duffel bag. Well, maybe a few pieces to cover up. But Stacey, you know that's not what he put in that duffel bag. Remember, you also said during one of Brooks's lives when she was talking to you that, oh, the duffel bag wasn't big enough for a child. She didn't ask you that.
unreasonable a lot with us.
Yeah.
He owed us so much fucking money. I mean, for everything we've helped him pay his phone bill multiple times, helped him with his car insurance when he had his car up and running.
And did law enforcement, do they have this bag?
I don't know. I, again, have not talked to the detective since November of 2022.
Has anybody threatened you that's a part of this?
I mean, I received multiple things on Messenger, but I don't even respond to them.
Well, I'm talking about from like Adrian or Brandon.
Oh, no, I don't. I haven't talked to Adrian. I haven't heard from Brandon. I haven't heard. Sarah called me a couple times trying to get me to stay with her. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Do you suspect her?
I have never seen, I would never think that Sarah would have something to do or do something like that. No.
Well, that's a lot of people though that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but it's his wife. I mean, I get that. I get, no, you don't want that. But so.
Trust me. I have no reason to throw Sarah. I have no reason not to throw Sarah under the bus. I would throw her.
Yeah, you kind of do. You kind of do because
life.
if you have any knowledge at all, it's
that's what I'm saying. If I had any knowledge at all, I would have been the first person with no hesitation to let law enforcement know.
Well, you sort of did when it came to the tip, but as far as, oh, I'd be the first one to tell them. Not if you are just as involved in the crime. Not if you're just as much involved as Sarah and Brandon and Adrian.
About any information I knew about him.
Right.
Like I told that in every video, I told the cops that. I said, look, any information, if I had any knowledge, forehand knowledge, I would have been the first to tell you guys. Anything I knew. I was honest with them. Just like I'm being honest here. I told them the same exact thing that I'm telling everybody on my lives. There's nothing, not one thing that has changed.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, after you tell a story so many times, and it has been a while, I don't know if there are discrepancies or not. I've seen a couple of them, but I do know that there are a couple discrepancies. But what you've told here, I mean, it seems like you're kind of walking us through what happened, but you're leaving out the part
Right.
of, well, look, there was obviously something, at least with those two going on, Brandon and your wife. If she agreed to drive him to his mother or to his mother's house to do laundry for God knows what reason, why he's taking his clothes out of his duffel bag, setting them next to the couch. Where, like when he walked in to stay with you guys, where did he set? He brought that duffel bag with him.
Hold on a minute. He said in his interview, he said that he was just spending the night with you.
No, Brendan stayed with us on multiple nights.
Well, in his
he stayed with us for months.
In his interview, he said he had just spent the night with you guys that night.
No, he is completely wrong. That's one of the reasons he owes us so much money. He's in debt with us over $1,000. He agreed to pay us rent.
He's
for staying with us.
He said that and this is his words, Stacey, it's not mine, but he said you were a nice guy, but you were a serial liar, is what he said. That's his words.
No. My point is this. I'm the one that's provided timestamps of that night in question.
Mhm.
Where's Brandon's timestamps? He's very capable of finding some way or somehow to log into his old emails to find pictures of videos that were timestamped that night.
But if you're saying he was with you
Correct.
the entire time,
Correct.
you're telling them that there's a child's remains in the backyard, but you say you're lying, and then there is child's remains in the backyard, and then you say there's a duffel bag, a medium-sized duffel bag, and he's washing clothes that you have a perfectly good washer machine at the house, and then you said he didn't bring the duffel bag home back that night.
He did bring it back home. I said that.
No.
Yes, I did. I said he took his duffel bag, put his clothes in the washer, and he got a new change of clothes. I said that.
So he put them back in the bag wet.
No, he got a new set of his clothes. He has like a fucking wardrobe.
Right.
He got new clothes. He left the old clothes in the washer and went back the next day with Sarah to his house to go put his clothes in the dryer.
Because that makes a lot of sense. Not. He didn't go over to his mom's house, and y'all didn't go over there to do laundry and pick up his broke down car. These are excuses to cover up what y'all were truly doing that night.
He brought his duffel bag back home with new clothes in it.
So what time did he go back the next day with Sarah?
I would say mid-morning.
Mid-morning. Okay. Do you know how long he was there?
I mean, they came back within a couple hours.
And where was Adrian?
He had came back to the house that early that morning. He was at the house that morning.
Okay. And nobody knows where the duffel bag is?
And apparently it's at Brandon's house. That's all I'm just speculating. I don't know. I haven't talked to the detectives since my interview with them in November. Have had no police contact, have nobody contact me from the police department, nothing. That's honest. I don't have communication with cops.
Do you know if they checked I'm sure that they did, they checked Brandon's mom and dad's washing machine?
Yeah. I'm sure they did. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure they did the whole house search.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, do they really think there was a body in Brandon's backyard? If the dogs hit, why the fuck aren't they tearing up her backyard?
Stacey, they never said there was a body in Brandon's mama's backyard. They just stated that he was at that house. And the dogs picked up on Michael's scent at that home. They picked up on that, and that's when Brandon's mama said, "Oh, those dogs came and they found I had a leak in my sewing plumbing, in my toilet." No. These dogs do not search for poop. That's not their job, okay? They found a scent of Michael at that house.
Makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. All this stuff that's being said about abracadabra dogs hitting on Brandon's backyard and my yard, maybe they said in my yard, but why would they dig up my yard and say that the cadabra dogs hit in his yard, but not dig up his yard?
Stacey, you told him that there was a body.
Correct, I did, which was a lie. But if they so-called said, this is my point I'm trying to make. If they said that there was cadaver dogs hit in the backyard of his mom's house, why aren't they digging up the backyard at his mom's house? That's, again, speculation. There's no documentation from the police, to my knowledge, saying that the cadaver dogs hit on his backyard. I haven't seen anything, nor have I heard anything other than hearing it from the media, from what's being said on YouTube videos.
Well, because that's not true. I never heard law enforcement state that they picked up on the backyard. I heard they picked up on the house, on the home. Again, meaning that he was there. And I don't believe when he was moved that he would have been moved to Brandon's mama's house. Apparently, his family owns a private burial, a private cemetery. And I have suspicions, and I'm not the only one, that Michael may have been moved there. But again, it's a private property, and yes, law enforcement can get a warrant to search it, but it's not that easy. They would have to have evidence that that's where he's located. They would need a credible tip to go dig that up.
And talking to Brooks. Again, that is, to my knowledge, is just speculation. Because until I see concrete evidence that the cadaver dogs hit on his backyard, because I'm telling you, if they hit on his backyard, it would have dug his backyard up too.
Well, I don't know if they hit on his backyard. They said
say
crawl space.
No, the crawl space was at our house.
That was their house.
And the dog hit there too.
No, the dog never hit on the crawl space. Never hit inside the house.
Gotcha.
That's just my point I'm trying to make. Like, there's lots of speculation, and there's apparently the police have evidence. I don't know what's true. I know that I had no part of this. I know that I don't even know who this kid is. I've never heard of this kid a day in my life.
His name's Michael.
I know.
Yeah, his name is Michael, Stacey. Say it. Michael Vaughn. And another reason why I know you're lying. You put up a picture, a photo of Michael Vaughn as your profile photo not long after he went missing. So, and you guys had a missing poster that Brandy likely brought to your front door on your refrigerator. So I call bull crap on, I never heard of this boy. I never heard of this family. No, you totally know exactly who Michael Vaughn is, and you are involved. Period.
I know his name now, but I'm saying I don't know this person from Adam. I've never heard of this kid. When he went missing, I was like, who the fuck is he? Other than
Michael.
Yeah, I know. Who the fuck is Michael? Like, I know that now, but I didn't know it. I lived in the neighborhood for 2 years, never heard a peep about Tyler and Brandy or their kids. I didn't even know her.
Yeah.
Never.
Again, I call BS on that because Brandy literally wore her feet down. She wore her shoes to the ground and her whole entire body, going door to door to door to door to door. And she went down to your home on Red Wing. Okay? Everyone in Fruitland knows and knew when he went missing who Michael Monkey Vaughn is. Everyone. And that includes you and Sarah.
Never did a tax form, never took their kids anywhere, and never even, I was oblivious, like 100%.
I've heard rumors, and these are just rumors, that you may or may not have said, but leaning more towards that you saw Sarah with Michael.
No. Not at all.
Never.
That's not coming from me. And I heard that too, but I heard it from a friend who follows the YouTube channels.
Oh, so you've heard the rumor?
I've heard the rumor too, and that's not true at all. I've never once. The only child that Sarah and I have ever babysat was my tattoo artist Ian Sturgeon's daughter when she came to visit from Wyoming. And Ian asked us to babysit her because, and she's 11, but she liked to come and hang out at our house because Sarah would do crochet things with her, would teach her how to crochet, would teach her how to, would bake with her, bake cakes with her and stuff like that. So she enjoyed hanging out and I enjoyed her company. Her name was Lexi.
Why would, can you just tell me about that? Why would that be a rumor? Why would somebody,
I don't know. I have no answer to that. That makes no sense at all because Sarah has never, to my knowledge, I mean, when Sarah and I have been together, we were like Bonnie, like not Bonnie and Clyde, but we were like together 98% of the time.
And didn't you have Michael's poster on your fridge?
Yes.
She had Michael's poster on the fridge.
But it's your house too, so you never
Correct.
saw that photo?
Correct, but that flyer was put up when it was given to us by when they were passing them out.
Who gave it to you?
I don't remember. Somebody passing out flyers. I just know it was literally given to us. I had Michael's profile picture, his picture of that was on that post profile picture on Facebook for the longest time, and I've already cleared that up with law enforcement. And it was literally to show support of the missing boy, Michael.
I call bull complete garbage coming out of your freaking mouth. They called you on it. Didn't you have Michael's poster on your refrigerator? Oh, Sarah did. It's your freaking house too, Stacey. And I'm sure you open that refrigerator door quite a number of times a day. So don't tell all of us that you didn't see his face every freaking day on that poster that was given to you, to your home, probably by Brandy. And then, I put that picture from his poster. That picture you put as your profile photo, that wasn't on any of the posters. You got that from a Google search, the families page. That was not on the missing posters. It was not.
Like everybody was doing. Everybody had a profile pic of Michael that lived around that neighborhood or that close friends, or they had the blue light thing going. Like literally, we didn't do the blue light thing, but we supported him by posting his picture on my Facebook page and her doing YouTube or TikTok videos with his profile, that missing boy picture in the background of the TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, after you get home from your trips and running and all that, what did you guys do before you guys left to do the towing?
We just stayed on like I said, we're at home. I think Sarah made a quick bite to eat, and we literally just chilled until we left. We made a plan. We got ready to go do the tow. I got the tow strap. Brandon watched Brandon pack his bag full of clothes, and we left.
Okay.
And are on CCTV 2 different times.
Correct.
Around the same time, people were looking for Michael.
Correct.
The interesting thing is Brandon says at 7:00, him and Sarah were at the gas station.
No. Look at the timestamps that I sent you.
Did they get milk at any time that day?
No.
So he's flat out lying.
You say milk?
Absolutely no. Milk. Yes.
Well, Stacey, you said you drank a lot of milk. So there wasn't a milk pickup at some point? No one went out and bought more milk? Because I think Brandon was telling the truth on that one. And I think the milk was bought for Michael.
I saw you drinking milk the other year. Are you a milk drinker?
I love drinking milk.
Is it an Idaho thing?
No, it's just a me thing. I would go through a gallon of milk in about 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
I love milk, dude. It's my favorite fucking thing to drink in the world.
Milk.
I don't like soda. I like tea. but I'll choose milk over tea any day.
Really? Wow.
Like I can't. I piss people off because I'll go to their house and they'll have a gallon of milk, like a full gallon,
Yeah.
and they'll go check their fridge like the next day or whatever, and it's gone. I can't tell you how many times I pissed off my tattoo artist.
You drank his milk?
Oh yeah, he was pissed. I ended up having to send him money to replace it because he's like, dude, you drank my whole gallon of milk. I'm like, sorry, dude, I just love milk.
Well,
But
I like milk too, but not that much.
Oh, no, I love milk. I drink milk all day, any day if I could. Not even joking.
He previously said the duffel bag was empty. Now he said it's packed with clothes.
Yes, it was empty when he brought it to the couch and put all of his dirty clothes inside the duffel bag. Correct. That's to clarify, but yeah, that's what it was. It was empty at the start. He brought his duffel bag onto the couch and loaded all of his dirty clothes into it.
Did Brandon stay with you that night?
Yeah.
Okay. And did he stay with you the next night?
Yes. He lived with us pretty much. We pretty much took care of him, babysat him in a sense, if you mind.
But didn't he have a house?
He wasn't allowed to stay at his house without his mom there. His mom was in Arizona, I believe, at the time.
So he's there that night. So during that day, you were never away from Sarah or Brandon or Adrian, for that matter, long enough for them to possibly
not at all
take Michael?
Not at all.
So you guys were all together that day?
Yes. Adrian stayed overnight in Boise or Nampa when they took him to go see his kid on the 27th.
And you say that he has been in. Did you say he's been in trouble for sex trafficking?
Human trafficking, correct.
He's been charged with that before?
Yes.
You all weren't together all day, and that's a lie, because you went off to allegedly do some taxi business, okay? And Sarah and Brandon and Adrian went by the mall and dropped Adrian off to have dinner or whatever, lunch with his family, and that they were alone for a period of time, Sarah and Brandon. And they even went back to Brandon's house because he needed a bottle of water. Again, all of you four people, all four suspects, were not together the entire day. You all went in different directions and then eventually all met up.
I learned that from the detectives Anita and Scott Kremen.
I mean, that's just another layer that just tells you, that's.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't know his history at all. I had to learn that from the detectives, and I didn't learn that until after I got incarcerated, just to clarify. This is not something that I knew beforehand at all. They came and told me about him. I learned that Dorothy was a sex offender who's Carson's ex-wife.
So Sarah did not have Michael Vaughn?
No.
Never once?
Not at all. Never during that day. Not at all. Not at all. And and if I knew something, like I said, I would not cover for her. I don't give a fuck if she's my wife or not.
Mm-hmm.
At no point in time would I ever be okay with finding knowledge about this or knowing anything about an abduction or somebody taking a child, ever.
So I just thought of something. What time did you guys leave? You said?
I think it was 6 or 6:30.
And you guys didn't get back till 10:20?
Correct. Keep in mind, the reason it took so long is because we had to take the back roads. Keep in mind, we also snapped the tow strap, so I had to get out.
Why did you have to take the back roads?
Because you can't drive on the interstate with a tow strap and a car being towed behind a car.
No. And I don't recall if Justin is going to call him on this, but you guys didn't get back at 10 o'clock. Because apparently you stated y'all got back into the neighborhood when things were starting to heat up looking for Michael. That would not have been 10 o'clock at night. He was abducted between 6:40 and 7 p.m. And you guys took the back roads because you abducted a child. You abducted Michael.
You just don't do that.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just asking. I have no clue.
No, that's exactly why I chose.
I
told
understand
them to take
that
the back
part,
road.
but I'm just trying to.
So you, what is the convenience of taking the back roads because of that, and how much longer does that add?
I mean, you can't with towing. You can't go like 70 miles an hour and pull something.
Exactly. You can only go 35, 40 miles an hour.
I understand that part, but
On a tow truck?
No, it wasn't a tow truck. We literally.
Don't people tow trailers all the time?
There was no. Yeah,
they did it with like a rope.
trailer. We literally were on a tow strap.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay.
a strap.
I got
That was connected directly to his vehicle to the back of the truck.
Gotcha. Okay. A tow strap. I understand now.
They didn't get home till 10:20.
Ouch. Oh my God.
We have Adrian at 4:47.
Oh, look, they're serving dinner. Ouch.
All right, man. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I appreciate you answering. Best of luck to you, man. Thank you.
This was a really great interview that Justin did and ended up getting Josh from the lab in on, because they called him on so many things. And I mean, obviously Brooks got him on a number of stuff, other channels did. But I think this was very, very good information to get out, and we're seeing that he thinks he's smarter. Stacey thinks he's smarter than law enforcement and everyone else. But he's really not. He's getting away with it for now. Okay? His day is going to come. And it's not fast enough. We have all hoped it was yesterday. Many yesterdays ago. But I truly believe, and I pray about this all the time, that one day I'm going to wake up, or partway through my work day, whatever, and we're going to hear breaking news. Suspects arrested in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I truly believe it. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And definitely let me know your comments on this. Again, I'm going to go through some of the interviews and such, because I want to keep this beautiful boy's face out there, and I want to keep his name out there. Because we need to be strong. Be Brandy strong. We're Monkey's Army. We need to be there for her and the Vaughn family right now. And what we can do is share his face and share the facts and the evidence, and just know that his day is coming. Justice is coming.